And welcome back, guys, to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo in the last part. Misha and Shizune have cornered me in the student council room and are now forcing me to give up Australia to join the student council. But I will not falter. I shall not fail, for I am Hisao, and he does not take your silly offers. I thought this was a game with no strings attached. Just the fact that she would dangle that over my head as an offer means that she knows I care about the outcome of this game. And no.
Sichan admires your fighting spirit and would be a benevolent dictator who would spare your people if you agree to join the student council.
Oh my goodness. She's going to rape my children and women. Actually, wait, no, it's rape your women and raise your children to resent. Actually, I think Frieza put it best in Dragon Ball Z Abridged. It's like, actually, you should probably kill the children because you're doing them a service, because then they'll grow up either under like slavery as pretty much slaves for all their lives, or they'll live up with revenge, and then they'll die anyway. So you're sort of doing them a favor by just killing them right off the bat. No one really cares about the children. But that's a terrible, terrible thing to say. I don't actually believe in it. It's just an interesting irony that is pointed out, and not always pointed out. But nevertheless, that's Shizune in a nutshell, I guess. You're so competitive, Shizune. She seems to take this as a compliment. I would expect the student council president to be a little bit more, magnanimous. Magnanimous? She doesn't seem to know what the word means, and how it's signed, so she pulls out a piece of paper and writes it for Shizune, who in return signs it back to Misha. Misha presses her index finger against her temples, as if trying to physically imprint the word into her memory. Suddenly, Shizune bursts into a flurry of gestures. Misha looks daunted by the pace of her hearted signing.
Ah, wait, please slow down, Sichan. Sichan says you're going to lose.
Tell her I will crush her world empire with my rebellion.
Okay.
Those eyes of hers shine with childish mischief.
Says you have no chance if you keep playing like this.
No, you won't. Alright, it's a trap. It's harder to play defensively here, or she has a point. Attack aggressively. See, you know, I understand the whole it's a trap, but I actually think she wants me to do that. She, like, the way that her character is written already, is she wants to make me think that it's a trap. Because that's how she is. That's who she is, right? I need to step it up. She's actually telling me the truth, but I'll think that she's not giving me the right information. So I'm going to attack aggressively. She's either really mocking me or trying to trick me. I have nothing else to lose, though, so I might as well try something different. Maybe if I spread out my forces and try to control more territories, I can recoup the advantage. Shizune seems to focus on conquering whole nations, so maybe I can sacrifice my hold on continents to gain more smaller countries. It's worth a shot. A few turns later, I end up losing the game anyway. Oh, Hisao, man. You let me down, man. You let her beat you. Shizune adjusts her glasses victoriously and allows herself to tentatively pump a fist in the air in celebration.
I win! Yay!
You didn't do anything. There's no need to translate that. It's pretty clear. But yeah, exactly. But hopefully Misha didn't take credit for that.
Don't look so sad, Hichan. You were really giving your best. That's what I thought. Sometimes your best just isn't good enough, though. If anyone knows that, it's me. You did very well for someone who just learned how to play today. Hichan, you attacked Iceland and North America at the same time. That's a very daring move. Sichan is impressed.
Why would you attack there? Iceland? I would think that if you were trying to bombard an area, you would go after Greenland, not Iceland, because Iceland's in the middle of, like, it's in the Middle East, kind of. You know, like it's not real. It's a little bit more Middle East. It's probably like Southern European, really. But that seems. I guess if he was spanning out, like he was trying to attack on two different fronts. But if you're trying to take the continents, I guess he was. Like I said, he was gonna be. I wanted him to go aggressive, so he's gonna leave the continents alone and just try and like spread his influence from center spots on the map. So yeah, North America would be a good standpoint, and maybe Iceland too, if he's looking for the European front, but alright, whatever.
That's a very daring move. Sichan is impressed. That marks a mark of great people is that they are daring, and they can follow through. You're already halfway there. Isn't that great, Sichan? That isn't enough, though. Just potential isn't enough. There's no point to potential if you don't take the first step. There's no point to that if you don't keep going. I want to see more. You're right, Sichan, but that's so demanding.
Whoa! What's up, Shizune? As far as suddenly looking a lot less playful and more like the serious person I expected her to be from the start.
Sichan, would you like to join the student council?
She really doesn't waste any time, does she? But it's only my second day of school, so I'm hesitant about committing to something so early. I haven't even taken a look at any of the other clubs yet. But spending time with Shizune and Misha doesn't seem like something I would hate. I still need more time to think about it before I decide for sure. Maybe. I'll get back to you on it.
Okay, Chan, but I hope you're not just saying that so we don't feel bad.
No, really.
Really? Hey, Chan, if you're gonna say that, you're saying that you're definitely the truth. There can't be any mistaking it.
I know. I guess I should have my revenge for losing, at the very least. Shizune smiles at that in a mischievous way that feels like twisting the knife in the wound of my loss. I take a glance at the clock on the wall and realize I spent a longer playing wrist than I expected. Sorry, I think I have to go. I wanted to go to the library. It's not closed yet, is it? Shizune scratches her head and gestures at Misha. How hard can it be to determine where the library is? There's a clock right there on the wall.
It should be, unless the librarian is absent. I think you're right, Sichan. We think the library's open. It's on the second floor. You can't miss it. Do you want us to show you where it is?
No thanks. It's okay. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was nice. Oh, God. There's another one of those paintings. My goodness. One flight of stairs up, and I run into a problem. The second floor is halfway, and a carbon copy of the third floor one. Wide, of course, and plain, like other hallways can be. The problem is that the library's whereabouts are not as easily determined as one would think. The classrooms are marked with signs stating which class they belong to, but then there's a plethora of others, unmarked rooms. Is the library one of them, or is it just somewhere down the hallway? I bet on the latter and choose my direction at random. After I turn around the corner, an unmarked door draws my attention because it's not closed. It's not open either, though, just barely ajar so that I can see it's open and nothing else. It would make sense for the library door to be inevitably open, and while this one is not quite that, it's good enough. At the very least, it means that someone is inside, and I can ask for directions, no matter how embarrassing that is. I gingerly push on the center of the door with my fingertips, every muscle in my arm ready to pull back at the moment's notice. The feeling of being an outsider to this school can't be shaken from my mind, so much so that I instinctively fear doing something wrong by entering. The door slowly creaks as it groans from a deep sleep, though it is much easier to open than I anticipated. Leaning over and poking my head ever further inside to gain inside of the room as fast as possible. The meek hello on my lips is quickly snatched away. Oh my goodness. This is not what I was expecting. I mindlessly let the door open to its full extent, taking in the sights of the solitary figure, taking center stage in an otherwise abandoned room. The situation steals my voice, leaving me standing at the doorway, staring at a beautiful girl. Evidently, having taken her time to assess the situation, the girl gently puts down her teacup and opens her eyes, but doesn't look at me. Hello there. May I help you? Oh, she's blind. Okay. Staring directly in front of her, the movement of her lips seemed to break the silence rather than the words. However, the soft, measured voice that reminds me she is being separated from the room itself. That's interesting. He's describing her as... I almost feels at first that she was an inanimate object until she actually spoke. That's interesting. Like a doll. Actually, that would probably be a good way of putting it. If you kind of look, she is sort of dollish. But anyway. Not only is she likely the tallest girl I've ever laid eyes on, but even among the foreigners I've met, she's strikingly distinct. Hi. Sorry for intruding. I was just kinda lost. She takes a moment to formulate a response before speaking. Every action she takes feels as if it's carefully choreographed beforehand. Care to take a seat? Unexpected considering that I'm intruding upon her. Thanks. I slowly step forward, another seat opposite her. The girl rests the teacup and saucer on the wooden table in between, sorry. The way she doesn't track my movements with her head is telling me that the slight cloudiness in her eyes means that she's at least partially blind, like Kenji. Come to think of it, her voice doesn't have a detectable accent either. I guess she must be half Japanese. As I take my seat, her composure takes me slightly off guard. Her air of relaxed confidence makes the silence entirely comfortable. The calming atmosphere is so very different from the student council office. I take it you're a new student to Yamaku. Yes, I just transferred in yesterday. I get the distinct feeling my speech pattern doesn't match the formality of hers, accentuated by her restraining bow of greeting. Alright, so she's the sophisticated one that likes to drink tea, probably intelligent, but probably harbors some sort of, like, dark secret or something like that. All these characters that ever have this type of demeanor, like, I mean, they were raised at that higher intellect, but there's one thing, they have one vice or something that, you know, sort of takes them over, that I guess if we follow her story path, we'll find out. She seems interesting, but I haven't really talked to her all that much yet. Sorry, just taking a drink here. One which I hastened to match before realizing the futility of the action. I'm Lily Satao. Pleased to meet you. Hisao Nakai. She gives a nod before gesturing roughly in the direction of her teacup. Would you care for a drink? Sure. I don't know, should I give her a British accent? I don't know. She looks like the way that they're portraying her is she's probably of European descent. A lot of the time, this type of formality doesn't come from us North Americans. Unfortunately, that's just how it has to be in our world. But nevertheless, as much as it pains me, I keep step with her formalities in the proceedings. She gives a kind nod, taking the request in stride. Sorry. Without another word, she steps off the chair and prepares a second cup of tea from a collection of supplies laid out along her shelf. A brush here, a brush there. Her left hand often slightly touches the side of whichever container she's pouring into. It seems to be a process she follows dozens of times before. As I lean sideways to see around her back, she seems to use her long, dainty fingers to measure the right amount of water in the cup. It's one thing to see the different disabilities the students in my class have, but it's quite another to see how everyone seems to adapt. Suzune and Misha have no problem working together to communicate to me. And Lily herself seems to have workarounds for problems I'd never thought of. While I feel slightly guilty about her doing the work, she seems pleased to be following the correct process of the offerer preparing the drink. So, her soft voice brings me out of my silent observance. Which room were you looking for? It's not often this classroom is visited after school. The school library. Shizune and me, I mean some classmates, told me that it was on this floor. She finishes pouring water into the teacup as she nods, a small metallic tapping coming from the teacup, indicating it's being stirred. I'm aware of Miss Hakamichi, as are most students. To be with them means you're in class 3-3, no? That's right, in the science room with Muto. She gives a small giggle before setting down the teaspoon and slowly walking towards the table, teacup and saucer in hand. He's quite a character. I imagine you'll come to like him. Most do. As she sets down the tea, I gently take it and have a sip. I'm really more of a coffee person, but this seems like a rather bad moment to bring it up. Nonetheless, the smell is quite nice. I hardly think it'd be hard to choke down. Thanks, Satao. It tastes really nice. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of her face. Lily, please. There's no need to be formal. It's actually kind of funny, actually, because, well, she seems a little bit more formal than he does. And I have to remember, he is actually quite short, because she's apparently really tall, right? So she's technically, he's Asian, and she's probably half white. So the Caucasian in her probably makes her really tall. I have to remember that. But nevertheless, that is some good Coke Zero. But nevertheless, in spite of her exceedingly well-bred speech, oh well. I guess I should try to ask her about herself, as it really does seem as if she's catering to me. So which class are you from? I imagine it's one of the third-year classes. Correct. I'm in class 3-2, which is on the 3rd floor, same as yours. It's taught by Miyagi. Miyagi, I guess, yeah. It's specifically for both blind and partially blind students. I see. Sorry. I feel like slapping myself for the faux pas. Looking at her face, though, she doesn't seem to at least be put off by it. Yeah, he did kind of, yeah, you can't say I see to someone that's blind, but, she seems like she took it. My, there's no need to change her speech on my account. Well, there you go. Sure. Yeah, technically it is just a figure of speech, and the people that take outward offense to it are probably a little overzealous, a little too content on their own self-righteousness, I guess. But, you know, you have to be sensitive to other people's culture. You're not going to go around calling everybody a bitch just because you can, right? There's got to be merit in it, right? But, nevertheless. Sure, sorry. I guess I'm really showing my newness here. An environment like this would be a big change, so I can't fault you for it. While the same can't be said for everyone, many have come to terms with their conditions. A category which would include her, it seems. All too ready to jump ship from this particular topic, I segue into another. Do you come here to drink tea often? It's a really nice place. Thinking on it, this might be her version of the place behind my school that I like to have lunch at. I come here fairly often during lunch times. My duty as class representative is don't leave enough time for an official club, so a friend and I use this room for having tea. Class representative, huh? Compared to Suzune, her mannerisms seem to be almost completely opposite. While Suzune is blunt and fiercely driven, Lily seems relaxed and calm, almost aloof. Come to think of it, look how serious Hisao is right here. Like, I mean, it is in his mind right now, but it's one of those things where she has to judge you by the way that you speak. She can't see the looks. Like, for example, Shizune, she is like, he's right. They are very much different, because Shizune can't hear him, but she has to pick up on the visual cues of how his face look. And that's why I have a feeling that Misha and Shizune know a little bit about what Hisao is thinking because of his facial expressions. While here, in this instance, they can't. She can't see it, so he could pretty much act however he wanted to on the outside, as long as he's a good actor. And she would be completely aloof by it. And I think that that's what the whole calm and endearing way is, because her concentration is focused more on her ears than on her eyes, whereas in the opposite is true for Shizune. But nevertheless, I'm getting too into the discussion. This is the type of stuff that when you read a book, you should say out loud to yourself. I find that when it comes to literature and understanding it completely, you need to know why characters and actions are. And I mean, I have a visual cue here that helps me come to that, oh my god, I've forgotten the word now. Assumption. But at the same time, when reading, you can also pick up on it using certain keywords. Like things like the word aloof really draws you into a character on why she would be that way. Why would he use the word aloof? Why would the author use the word aloof? So this is sort of like reading 101. So whenever you're writing a book report or anything like that, you have to take the words into consideration, that why the events of the book are happening and how are they described. Because you can learn a lot about someone, something, or an event by just a couple of pages of dialogue. And when you can single those words out, or those sentences out, then they become really, really easy to talk about and to use as examples that work really well for book reports, because that's along the lines is always trying to find the meaning of the book. And if you can find a sentence that sums up everything that you think the book is about, then you got yourself a really good mark right there, because you can write about it all day because you took that time to single that out. So that's a little bit of pro teaching tips from Winslet. But anyway, sorry, I just went off on a tangent there. That is the first time a Let's Play has triggered my teaching aspect. That actually makes you feel great. I don't know. I'm being weird now. I'm being all ushy-gushy. I'm sorry. God, I love this game already. It's got me thinking. It's got me in my book reporting mode, and goodness gracious. Alright, let's do this. She may, it's useful, let's buy as few of the school clubs. What kind of clubs are there to join? The more popular ones are the track and field club, which uses the field near the school during lunchtime, the baseball club, and the book club in a room near the library. There are numerous small ones too, though, such as art and music clubs. At a time when I'm just wanting to get on my feet, rush into a club right away seems slightly unappealing. I wonder if this school shares the same rule as my old one. Is it compulsory to join a club? It isn't, though it's encouraged. Ah, good. That's a relief. I've really let down my guard around this girl to let such a thing slip out. The fact seems to slightly amuse her. Not wanting my tea to get cold, I finally start drinking it, as Lily does the same. I think that right there is actually interesting too. He's actually, his guard is down because not only is she calming, but at the same time, he feel like he has this subconscious idea that he needs to speak his mind a little bit more because she can't fill in the blanks like other people could. With, facial expressions and all that. Leads all back, full circle, derp, But, yeah, we are coming in on the 25-minute mark, so I think that will be a good episode for today. So, next time on Katawa Shoujo, we will continue our riveting conversation with Lily. So take care, guys, stay frosty, and stay healthy.